Oh, 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 I'm in the mood for that thing right there, right there. Got my window open. It's wet out, rainy out. Y'all see what this is, but we're going to come back to that. Ladies and gentlemen, every fan is a coach edition. You know, this is for all the people that said I was Caitlin Clark fangirl channel or whatever it was. I like sports. So there are going to be some videos where we're going to talk sports. Again, this is, yes, I'm a Christian. Yes, I'm a pastor. But I live in the world, not of the world. So I appreciate things that happen. I appreciate athletics. So let's get into this. Look, I made a Caitlin Clark video at the end of the season, social commentary, broke down her impact in the league. And I've watched all year certain YouTube channels blow up solely because of her. Like, they just cover her content. So I was like, man, what are they going to talk about when it's over? Now, right now, the WNBA is still in session. There are 4 teams in the playoff. The Las Vegas Aces are playing the New York Liberty. The Aces were the back-to-back champions. You have the Mercury Lynx are playing the Connecticut Sun. And those are 4 good teams. But reality is starting to set in. Reality is setting in. So remember before the season started, when Diana Taurasi told Scott Van Pelt that reality was going to set in for Caitlin Clark when she gets to the WNBA. And then she got there, and then all this notoriety, hype, people started watching more games, coming to games and stuff like that, all of that, right? And they were talking about the league is growing and this and that, and it's not just one person. Hashtag the W is not just about one person. All that's true on one level. In essence, the league is not about one person, but the immediate attention the league was getting was. So Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, they lose in the second game against the Connecticut Sun, which I said that would happen. I thought they accomplished their goal getting to the playoffs. They didn't have a vision for going beyond the playoffs. So they're out, and there's been a drastic change. So in the second game, if I'm not mistaken, against the Connecticut Sun, on Super Bowl Sunday, not Super Bowl Sunday, on NFL Sunday, Caitlin Clark and them draw 1.8 million fans, okay? The next game, which features the back-to-back WNBA champions, Las Vegas Aces, they draw 400,000, and it goes down from there. Now that Caitlin Clark and them are out of the playoffs, the WNBA is now experiencing the WNBA less Caitlin Clark. And here's what some people are saying about the league as a result of it. So this is all going to be good because the NBA is still on. But in a month from now, you ain't going to be able to do Caitlin Clark videos, champ. You got to find something else to talk about, baby. You ain't going to be able to do it. But for right now, this is still what's going on. So let's watch this quick video to see what's being said about the WNBA minus Caitlin Clark, and then I'll give you a couple thoughts to consider after this. All right, here we go.
I think I found that eureka moment. The WNBA touts a 48% attendance jump with over 2.3 million fans attending the games. Now, last year, they averaged around 6,615 people per game. Pathetic. And this year, they're averaging 9,807 fans per game. Wait for it. Pathetic. 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 No matter how you want to cut it, averaging 9,000 people to come watch a professional sporting event is bad, folks. Come on, especially an event from a league that everybody watches, right? Everybody watches women.
You know what's interesting to me about watching videos from people like this guy and other people? I don't know what it is. And maybe I don't know what this guy, what he believes, what his morality is like or anything. I just find it interesting the amount of self-righteousness in these videos, like the amount of self-righteousness in these videos. Like, let's be clear. Like, let's just put things in perspective for a minute. In perspective, because I don't know this guy at all. He might be a great guy. Let's put things in perspective. These are women getting paid, a salary, and some of them have, endorsements and getting paid presumably more money than this guy, making more money than him. Yeah, they may have a fan base that's only getting about 9,000 people, but I bet you any of us would want, especially at the level that we're at, would want 9,000 people paying to see us. Like, I doubt this guy has maybe 18,000 subscribers, and I don't know how many watch his videos. He has more than me for sure. But I bet you he's not making the amount of money that it would cost. So let's just say on the lowest scale, a WNBA ticket to watch a game costs $30. So if you're getting 9,800 people coming to watch your game at $30, which I'm sure many of the tickets are more than $30, but let's just say for the sake of this discussion, let's say 9,800 people, all right, 9,800 people times $30, all right? That's $294,000 they're making, okay? Now, they have to pay salaries and stuff. So in the grand scheme, it's not a lot of money on a professional sports level. But it's more money than the people who were making these videos, who were self-righteously mocking these people. So we have to put things in perspective, ladies and gentlemen. Like, okay, I may not agree with the political agenda or the ideological agenda of the WNBA because they're back with the pride and all of that, right? I may not, and I may make videos that highlight some of the fallacies and discrepancies within this organization. But let's keep it 100. This guy right here, who is self-righteously judging these people, would love to make $294,000, and this is minimum. I just said $30 a ticket. I don't know. Some of those tickets cost more than $30. Everyone raised their ticket prices this year, so I just think it's interesting But I digress. Let's continue.
Women's basketball. Everybody watches the WNBA, but Ben, half of these teams play in entertainment centers. That's not true. But Ben, half of these teams play in high school gyms. That's closer to the truth. But folks, what really stood out to me about this was that they're hyping up this 2.3 million attendee number, right? And this number might be all fine and dandy until you open up that third eye and you realize that the Indiana Fever account for 28% of that 2.3 million number. Indiana Fever are nearly making up 1/3 of WNBA attendance. Folks, that's what happens when you don't close off the top curtain. Minnesota Lynx, New York Liberty. That's what happens when you play in a big boy gym, not a small 10,000 Las Vegas Aces, not a small time arena.
All right, so here's the reality, right? This guy's right on many levels. In terms of the WNBA, outside without Caitlin Clark, they're getting the reality. The reality is hitting the league. And I think it's interesting because this is what I think is going to happen. I think two things are going to happen. The reality is hitting the league. You don't draw the numbers. People aren't drawn to the WNBA. The sad part is they could have been. I think this was the season that most people, because they like Caitlin Clark, because remember, teams were cheering for her in other stadiums, away stadiums. This could have been the season where the WNBA really won the hearts of people because it's the first time, I think, in maybe a long time or maybe ever, that the WNBA was drawing, it got people's attention. People got to look at they got to meet new players. They got to, everything that these women have worked so hard for, a lot of things, including jealousy, bitterness, judgment, all these things prevented it. So what they did was they created a culture where they made the Caitlin Clark the villain. Some of them did. And then the Caitlin Clark effect, they tried to downplay it. And now that she's out of the playoffs, the WNBA's ratings are going to drop. Now, I'm personally going to watch the championship series. I think all four of the teams that are in it are good players. And I like basketball. And I'm not just a Caitlin Clark fan. I like basketball, but I'm also realistically a Caitlin Clark fan too. And now that football season is in, and you know what we getting ready to talk about in a minute, now that that's in, I'm definitely not going to follow it. So on one level, I think, yeah, WNBA is getting a rude awakening. But I think the two things that can happen here is going to go one or two ways, I think. Maybe more, but one or two ways is better for how we think. We like dichotomies, right? One or two things are going to happen. It's going to cause more vitriol towards Caitlin next year. More players are going to be bitter at her because it's proven now. Like if you wanted to ignore during the season, that's fine. But it's proven. Now, unless the numbers drastically change through the rest of the playoffs, it's pretty proven that many people were watching this league because of her. And now that she's out, people would rather watch her play golf and show up at Indiana Colts games with her boyfriend than they would actually watching the other WNBA games. I think some of those players are going to be more bitter because reality's setting in. And they're going to find the ways to blame it on. And I just think, listen, if they embrace the woman, even Cheryl Swoops on Angel Reese's podcast, it's like, I want to give her flowers. Angel Reese is like, oh my gosh, because it's clear. Because listen, it's all a hustle. Cheryl Swoops is saying all these negative things. She's been talked about more than she ever has been since she played in the WNBA. I think it's all strategic. All she has to do is all of a sudden go backwards, pat her on the back, and all will be well. People will forgive her and be like, see, we knew you'd come to see the light. But the reality is the WNBA is suffering without Caitlin Clark. And so they better hope that nothing happens to her in the offseason. Because everybody and their mother, from LeBron James on down, is celebrating this woman and waiting to see her come back. So, shouts to Caitlin Clark. Rest, enjoy your time. WNBA, finish strong, but the reality is they needed Caitlin Clark. All right. Every fan is a coach. Man, oh man. I don't care who your football team is. I only care who mine is. Let me tell you something. I've been a Redskins season ticket holder, Washington Commanders, whatever. Still Skins to me. And Native Americans are actually trying to sue to get the Redskins name back. So I don't know who the people were that said that this was a derogatory term that offended them. Many of them folks want the name back. I want the name back too. I got a jacket around the corner that I'll be wearing that when it gets colder, that's Redskins with this hat, and I'll probably get a black one. But we look scary, ladies and gentlemen. We look scary out there. I don't care if you want to subscribe or don't watch this video because it's not what you wanted to talk about. It's my channel. We look scary. They call Terry McLaurin, the main wide receiver for the Redskins, Scary Terry. Oh, no. Oh, no. He's only one. Halloween has come early. It's early. We look good. The Washington Commanders are now 3-1 on top of the NFC East, and Jaden Daniels, the number 2 quarterback in the draft, that's my quarterback, is showing improving right now. Showing improving. I remember watching this in the draft and figuring out who they're going to pick up, who they're going to grab, and I did not want to get Caleb Williams. I didn't want to get Caleb Williams. I knew I'd let him go first. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't think he was, sometimes you could just tell. And then, so the DMV, this is DC, Maryland, and Virginia. This is a real, like, kind of a gangster, like a tough area, right? Just in general. Not that everyone's a gangster, but I used to call DC Chocolate City, right? It was a rough area. We appreciate, like, hard. Like, you gotta go hard to be around here. And Caleb Williams was a little bit whiny and complaining. And then one day, this dude just showed up with his nails painted. Nails painted, holding like a man purse. Let me just say this. There's no such thing as a man purse to me. It's not a man purse. If it is, this is a man purse to me. This is a man purse. This is my man purse. Caleb Williams had a man purse and painted nails, and I said, I don't want him here with us because he don't got the mentality that we got. So when Chicago took him, good, God bless him. But then they took Jaden Daniels, and I said, man, he might be the move. How do you win do you know Heisman Trophy winners? He won the Heisman Trophy, losing 4 games that year in college. That is unheard of. No one wins the Heisman Trophy in college and lost 4 games. It doesn't happen. You don't do that. He won the Heisman after losing 4 games because they saw something in him. And man, 4 games into the league, He has the highest passing percentage in the first 4 games than any other rookie ever, including Tom Brady and all these people. Now, someone said it was period ever, not just rookies. I don't want to say that and overhype the stat. I think I heard both, and I'll just lean towards the more humble approach over rookies and not just over quarterbacks, period. Having a blast. Let me tell you something. As a Washington football fan, we haven't won the championship since Mark Rippon in 1991, Joe Gibbs, Gary Clark, Art Monk, all these dudes, man. We haven't won since then. It's been 33 years. In 2012, we drafted RG3, who was like a phenomenal football player, but he was more phenomenal up here than he was in his playing ability because he wouldn't slide. He was fast. He was taking hits. Look, you got linemen that are big like me that be running 5.40s, 5-second 40s. They'll hit your knees and they hurt. RG3 gave us 1 year. We gave up so much to get him. We didn't recover. Troy Aikman said it best on Monday Night Football against Cincinnati Bengals because he was someone who played against the Washington Redskins many years because he played for the Dallas Cowboys as a quarterback. And he said, paraphrasing, I'm happy for that franchise because that city is a real football city, which we are. We are a football city. We respect the Nationals. We respect we've won as the Nationals. We've won as the Mystics. We've won as the Capitals. We've won, the Stanley Cup. We've won in every sport except I don't think the MLS soccer team has won a championship. But we've won in almost every other professional sports team. But this is a football city. And we haven't won for a long time. And every year we've been like, let me tell you something. When you don't have a good, I don't know how you think about your sports team. But let's be clear. You can have a good running back, a good wide receiver, and all of it. But football is about who the quarterback is. Now, it doesn't mean he has to be the most popular, but if you do not have a good quarterback, you will be hard pressed to find a team that won the Super Bowl where the quarterback was below average. It just doesn't happen. You can have a good running back. You can have a good wideout. You can even have a good defense. The leader on your team could be the safety or the DB, defensive back. It could be all of that. But if you don't have a good quarterback, and all the great teams, Tom Brady was not just a good quarterback. Tom Brady had a line that they built around him to protect him and then added pieces to make him great. Peyton Manning had the same thing. When you look at all the great quarterbacks, once they realize we got one, they built around them. And when a quarterback is good and the offense is clicking, it makes the defense and everybody, special teams, everybody wants to play because you start getting attention. People are talking about your quarterback, which means they're talking about your team. And you don't want to have everybody say the quarterback is phenomenal, but the defense is the worst we've ever seen. These men are professionals. They're getting paid millions of dollars. And the last thing they want to do after working this hard to get to this point in the league is be laughed at. And so you see when you have a good quarterback who's connecting with his receivers and the offense is clicking, all the rest of it starts to go. They said defense wins championships, but offense fills the seats. People pay to see offense, not defense. So as your offense is clicking, it's like, wait a minute. Jaden Daniels came into the league. We lost our first game. And then we won our next game against the New York Giants. 7 field goals, hadn't got a touchdown. And then after that, it was like something just clicked. Now, I'm a realistic fan. I'll be honest with you. Last night, watching us play against the Arizona Cardinals, watching Jaden Daniels dance all over. I mean, he was tap dancing on their cerebellum. You talk about living in your head rent-free. That man was Fred Astaire on their cerebellum. He was salsaing on their cerebellum. I mean, he was all in their head. Woo, woo, woo. We win 42-14. Our defense, pass defense, is ranked 31st in the league. Spoiler alert. That's at the bottom of the league. That's one of the worst in the league. But guess what? That was week 3. Week 4, they know everybody's talking about Jaden Daniels. I can't go on my timeline without like Jaden Daniels, Jaden Daniels, Jaden Daniels, Jaden Daniels. After that Monday Night Football, he looks poised. He's this, he's that. He's the man, he's the truth. The Chicago Bears drafted the wrong quarterback. Yep, they sure did. Will he stay healthy? No one knows that. That remains to be seen. But he's phenomenal. And what you see happening is the rest of the team. The rest of the team is starting to get it together. Now, Arizona's not ridiculous, but Marvin Harrison Jr., the rookie, is balling out. He was balling out last week, but we held them to 14 points. It was supposed to be a shootout. Nah, it was someone got shot at is what happened. It was supposed to be a shootout. They got shot at. I'm excited as a Washington Commanders fan, Washington Redskins fan. I love it. I'm excited because it's been a long time. We were in this text message chat, about 8 of us during the game, and half of us were like, man, I'm not used to this. I'm not used to us scoring that well. We were the first third quarter team in the league. Well, I'm not used to it. Calgon, take me away. I don't know what's happening. The Lord has blessed us. Yeshua, Jesus has blessed us. It's crazy. It's just ridiculous. And it's fun, but it's fun. It's fun to actually be excited about your team, especially if you're like me, who has put hard-earned dollars every season for that. Let me tell you what it's like to go to a game. I'm a pastor. I preach on Sunday. Most Sundays I preach. Solid Rock Church, Riverdale, Maryland, right down the street. We're right around the corner from the stadium. But what is this? What is this? So we teach, right? I teach a message on Sunday. We do Q&A every Sunday. People are allowed to ask questions every Sunday after the service. Every Sunday, people ask questions. Sometimes it's like 12, 15, 12, 20. Then people want to come up and talk to you. Now, my church knows. Listen, if it's a home game, it's a possibility that Pastor Kirk is leaving shortly after the game. They don't get offended. They understand the drill. They respect their pastor. I'm there all the time for them. I'm there during the week for them. But if it's Sunday and it's a home game, it's a home game. Even if it's a away game, I'll stay there a little bit and talk to you. But if it's a home game, I pay money to get them seats. I'm on my Bernie Mac right now. I'm going to the game. Me and a couple dudes going to that game. You see that game? We hit the game. But we have to drive up there. It's hard to get in because everyone's coming in, right? Then you got to drive up. We're in the Burgundy parking section right by the stadium. So we got to go in there, find a parking spot, go in, walk across the street, go up 3 flights of steps, go through the security joint, right? Then scan your ticket, then go sit down in your seat. It takes some time. I'm already tired. I've been preaching. To go there and watch your team lose, and then you got fans from the other team mocking you, and you really just wish you could just smack them, but you can't because you're a Christian and you just don't do that. So you got to deny yourself, take up your cross, follow Jesus while these people mock you in your stadium. To be able to come and actually expect and excited to win is fascinating. It's interesting how the things that we can find happiness in are so temporal, but they matter. They change the way you see yourself. They change how you feel. You're at the games hugging people you've never met, hoping they don't got COVID or nothing else. You giving people all that. It's just fun. It's a fun atmosphere. The Washington Commanders look good because we got a quarterback that has heart. I told you this about Caitlin Clark. We love her because she has heart. Jaden Daniels has heart, and I couldn't be more excited. It's going to be fun. I'm not even worried about, this isn't about, we're going to win a Super Bowl. I'm not even worried about that. What I'm excited about is finally we have a quarterback that is showing that he can play the game and he wants to win here. One of the things about free agency that I hate about free agency is you get excited about the players that come to your team for free agency, but the reality is they come for a paycheck. When you get drafted by a team, that's your introduction to your professional career, and it just hits differently. This is the first, you've been waiting all your life. You may have your favorite team and who you wanted to play for, but now you're getting drafted, and this is the team and the fans and the city that are letting you put the cape on and they're riding with you. And so there's a different thing when you played for a couple teams and now you're just hoping to get paid a little bit of money. So you may come and be like, yeah, I hope to help this team win. But the reality is, you've been in the league already. You hope to help these other teams win. But when you get drafted by a team, you haven't played on any other teams. You only care about this team winning. And when that particular individual is someone that's skilled, as Jaden Daniels is as your quarterback, sky's the limit. Biggie told y'all, 112, sky is the limit, and you can have what you want, be what you want, have what you want. I'm telling you, that's it. I'm excited. It's going to be fun. Every fan is a coach. Of course, we got something to talk about. And I was going to bring this up. There's a fantasy football curse. Maybe it's just me. I shouldn't have drafted. I picked up fantasy football. The Madden curse, you know what the Madden curse is? So every year, John Madden has a football player on his team. And there was a period where whoever that player was, he would get hurt in the season and almost miss the season or something like that. And the Madden curse had disappeared for a while, but it came back this year. And I should have listened. Christian, McCaffrey, San Francisco, running back, phenomenal. Is on the Madden cover. That Bama hasn't played a game yet. He's on injured reserve. I was number one in my fantasy draft. I picked him up. Some told me don't, but I said, man, I got to get him. It's Christian McCaffrey. How do you not do it? He hasn't played yet. My starting tight end, Evan Ingram's only played one game. Devontae Adams was out last. I'm 0-3 in fantasy. And normally, I would be really offended. Let me tell you why. Because fantasy took away the sting of how Washington was playing. Because normally at week 4, we're 1-3, already looking forward to next season. But now, even though I paid money to try to win in this league, and there's still a possibility, I'm excited. You know why? But there's a fantasy football curse. Players getting hurt. I don't know what's happening this year. It's going to be interesting to see who wins. Or maybe some people are like, what are you talking about? I'm undefeated in my league. Last thing. I don't know if you play fantasy football, but let me just give you a tip of advice. Don't play in a 14-team league. This is my last time playing in a 14-team league. I will never play in a 14-team league again. There's too many people. And when you have 14 teams, there's not enough good players to choose from off the waiver wire. There's a couple here and there, but they're already been picked up by a lot of people. There's a few people that emerged during the season that you didn't think were going to emerge and you can grab. But for the most part, most of the players are already gone. So if you have a team and they're not doing well, it's just like, boom, it is what it is. I need 3 players to play well tonight in order to win, or I go 0-4. Now, I know some people that have won their fantasy football at 0-4, but I'm not really excited about it. A lot of my players are doing bad, and they were like good players. They're supposed to be good. I can't do anything about that. There's a fantasy football curse, but let me tell you, what's helping me get through it is the Washington Commanders look scary. Ladies and gentlemen, every fan is a coach edition. Thank you for watching. This is not your typical. This is not that. We getting it in. I appreciate y'all, and we'll see you on the next stream. Grace and peace.